And we having businessmen will complain. Ila kulun kanale fu banjol. Ibuka jino ebuka la bagaso jin. They turn back. They katafen dol drop into Senegal. Gambia bagaso kajisen. Omasi bolet.
Dr. Ture contributed immensely to the failure of Barrow regime from 2017 to 2020.
Manke mola foye ko babun wok monki it bar ko metela jero yaje ko wala be tamakan NPP kono.
Yes, ngajale because ya kende fangola I was victimized. Who? The party executive. President ya bulobula among intervene because atele sonta yenna the political campaign.
Barrow e muno famone ning ata hanata ko men ko be jaralale we transport people from Mali, Sierra Leone and other countries but we are going to do it. Pour ka mol transport ni nalana can support for 5 years on moesia proud.
Bari ita fono la ko ha minister la jodo atale ngati nga minister tal allowance la fa mol membe duma minister patata nyaonya mol membe marché oto jendan jaay o famasol do Sénégal membe bolon kono wolle patata minister ti woton te balafa no la minister e ka fo minister la jodo atale nga balafa wanto director la jodo atale nga balafa.
Yaya has the political power. Yaya has the political popularity in the Gambia. Hanebi molbe lafring alale anu hanebi ala yamaro na futa molka.
Let it be put straight that marriage should be between a man and a woman only if they reach the age of 18 and above, or if they reach maturity, because people could be matured before they reach 18.
So every year, the GFF receives
My guest tonight is Babucarr Jeng, the founder and leader of Gambia First, a former president. You can greet the viewers.
Made it easy for me to be here. And I send my greetings to my mom and dad.
And we having businessmen will complain. Ila kulun kanale fu banjol. Ibuka jino ebuka la bagaso jin. They turn back. They katafen dol drop into Senegal. Gambia bagaso kajisen. Omasi bolet.
Dr. Ture contributed immensely to the failure of Barrow regime from 2017 to 2020.
Manke mola foye ko babun wok monki it bar ko metela jero yaje ko wala be tamakan NPP kono.
Yes, ngajale because ya kende fangola I was victimized. Who? The party executive. President ya bulobula among intervene because atele sonta yenna the political campaign.
Barrow e muno famone ning ata hanata ko men ko be jaralale we transport people from Mali, Sierra Leone and other countries but we are going to do it. Pour ka mol transport ni nalana can support for 5 years on moesia proud.
Bari ita fono la ko ha minister la jodo atale ngati nga minister tal allowance la fa mol membe duma minister patata nyaonya mol membe marché oto jendan jaay o famasol do Sénégal membe bolon kono wolle patata minister ti woton te balafa no la minister e ka fo minister la jodo atale nga balafa wanto director la jodo atale nga balafa.
Yaya has the political power. Yaya has the political popularity in the Gambia. Hanebi molbe lafring alale anu hanebi ala yamaro na futa molka.
Let it be put straight that marriage should be between a man and a woman only if they reach the age of 18 and above, or if they reach maturity, because people could be matured before they reach 18.
So every year, the GFF receives $1 million from FIFA, $500,000 in January, and another $500,000 in July.
nit ku baax dafa yombul boo ko amee danga koy kañ soo ko kañul kan ngay kañ te kañ ngay kañ góor ci juddu la ci deret lay daw te ci jikko lay feeñoo góor ci juddu la man daal de tippoo naa la man Abdou Guité Seck maa ngi seetaan Gambian Talent TV di wax suma soppe yépp nañ koy seetaan bu baax ndaxte yëf yi doy na waar saf na sàpp macha allah.
ñu bëgg a xam rek tuuti bi nga nekkee Gambia lan moo la motivated ku nga dugg si yëfi
music. Funnily enough, my mom has always been a singer. So even when they came Liberia, like choir mistress Lawan, see church before, so she was always singing. So I think that
viewers, just to remind you again, this is your favorite show, Bankola Kuwo, that comes your way every Sunday from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Like I said, we're a bit late. And my guest tonight is Babucarr Jeng, the leader and the founder of Gambia First, and also a former presidential aspirant. That is 2021 presidential election, who was among the candidates that endorsed President Barrow to have the second ticket to lead the country for another 5 years. Greetings, Mr. Jeng. You can greet the viewers.
I am honored to be here. And I'm returning greetings to you. And I'm saying Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah to all the viewers out there. And good evening.
Good evening.
To the other side.
So,
to the Christian brothers. We have two faiths here, both Muslims and Christians. And I am sending a special greetings to my mom and dad, my wife and children, and the entire executive of Gambia First, and my entire team, Team JMC. This is your brother, this is your friend, son, your husband. This is your brother in nation, Babucarr Jeng.
Yeah, Mr. Jeng, looking at you, you seem to, to me, you seem to be having, a lot of faith, who believe in this religion a lot. Before we get into the interview, can you say something about that?
Actually, religion is my core. It's my foundation. I believe so much in religion, and I am so deep into it. And I believe that it's the foundation of mankind. Without religion, I don't think our existence would make any sense. So it's a guiding principle that I really adhere to.
Yeah, that's great. Yes, Mr. Jeng is a youth who have the passion to be a leader. And first of all, because a lot of people started knowing who is Babucarr Jeng during the 2021 presidential election, when you came out, to show your interest that you wanted to run. Yes. But then can you tell us a little bit, how did you get into politics?
Actually, my social activism, led me into politics. Because being a youth who was raised, in the midst of Serekunda, the people of Serekunda knows what I'm talking about, and having that interaction, with all facets of society, from the ghetto, the school, and having the opportunity also after graduation from school, traveling to places like South Africa, which is a country that's very difficult to survive, has given me, a broad perspective, of life, and being connected to Bankas, which is a movement that goes around the country, trying to connect people to spirituality, has given me, a wealth of experience. It has broadened also my vision, on how life is supposed to be lived. And I wasn't pretty much keen when it comes to politics. And I started developing interest, looking at the political trend going to the books, because our politics is guided by books, which we derive our rules and regulations from. The Constitution of the Gambia, laws of the Gambia, and not only looking at the books, but looking at day-to-day life, how people are living, traveling the length and breadth of the country, from village to village, interacting with society, and my interaction with the other extreme, not extremely rich, but at least people that have food on the table on a daily basis, and on the other side also, looking at the poverty bit, where people struggle, and looking at Gambia as a country, which is a tax-based country, and all these so-called people in offices trying to manage our country are paid taxes, and they collect taxes from the layman, and these taxes that are collected from these laymen and women are not plowed back to them, in terms of making sure that they have good education facilities, they have a good healthcare system and affordable, when it comes to feeding, also when it comes to the shelter. So I look at the gap and feel that something can be done, because at the end of the day, it's just collecting money and giving it back, and we are living in a global village, where we are one another's keepers. That's the reason why you have these United Nations. You have all these, international organizations. You have the, charitable organizations. You have the civil society organizations. All together, we found ourselves in this big thing called the globe, and there's a global economy. That's the reason why there's international trade. So I believe that there's a lot of money being circulated around the world, that poverty has no place on earth. If we have people, that are focused on alleviating poverty and touching lives, not building themselves, in the process of governance. So I sat down, go to the books, do my research, come up with what I believe that it can at least contribute. Because the problems of this world, to be honest, you cannot end it. It's going to be here with us forever. And everybody gets up and tries. And that's the reason why, if you observe the world, they'll just get up and hail one president. The next minute, the president is down. The same people that hail the president and put him in power are the same people that go against that president and remove him out of power. So we've been, voting and removing. So it's just like a routine, things being repeated over and over again. At the end of the day, you can't get things right. You can never satisfy this human being. So I think my philosophy is like any other philosophy, any other creativity. Like today we are sitting and there is light. Somebody invented the light bulb, right?
So
I just have a philosophy that I believe can help Gambia and Gambians. So that was when I took the bold step. It was a bold step, I believe, because looking at my age and looking at my experience. But I believe that with my age and experience, no matter how little it is, it could make impact.
All right. So getting into politics, like you said, going around preaching, you are somebody who believe in this religion, that is Islam, going around doing preaching and other things. So after turning, I'm not saying leaving that, but then later on adding politics there, you must have challenges or not, because some people, I can say not all, but some believe that politics is not good. What was your experience?
Actually, I knew it was going to come because I was prepared for it. You're dealing with perceptions, because human beings, they see things differently. I knew people are going to start criticizing. People are going to start seeing it as something that's not normal. People will react to things they don't know. They don't have knowledge about. So I was expecting the reaction. So I got prepared for it. So all I did is ignore whatever comes my way. Like I told you when we were chatting, I don't Facebook, where all the noise is happening and all this negative authorizing and finger pointing. I was just focused on me. I wanted to touch lives. I wanted to impact lives. And looking at religion, because I have a background of Quran, I went to memorize the Quran also, even though I'm not a Hafiz, but I have a lot of Quran. And I read a lot of books which have given me the idea of really what I want to do. You cannot separate politics from life. You cannot separate life from politics. You cannot separate politics from religion. You cannot separate religion from politics. They have connections. So these connections has to be identified for you to be able to utilize it in a way that is going to, sell your agenda and sell your philosophy to the hearts and the minds of the people. Sometimes it's not just getting and winning. It's about winning hearts and minds. It's not about playing the game. It's about changing the game. Because the game needs to change. Something needs to change for a lot of things to change. So it wasn't tough for me because I was ready for it. And I was very sincere in what I was doing. And one thing about me, I don't fear the blame of the blames. I listen very keenly, even to the critics when they criticize. I give them excuses. And the critics, I use it as an opportunity to educate, because only the ignorant criticizes. But unfortunately, there are willful, ignorant people who just gets out there and criticize for the sake of politics, just to discourage the electorate and distract people from giving an attentive ear to what would benefit them. So it's all about power structure.
Yeah. So how was it? How did it started? Like when you ended up having an intention to go now. Now you said you already wanted to go to the presidential election. Understand, to contest. How did you start that one and go into it and then later on endorse the president, that is President Adama Barrow?
I did my homework, looking at the requirements. What makes one qualified to run for office? That higher office.
Higher office. That is the Marina Pareda.
Yes, through the IEC. So when I got the information, I looked at it. I was qualified to run. I have all the criteria that somebody have to, have, on that document for you to be able to be qualified to run for a president. I wasn't too young also. I wasn't also too not educated. I had the qualifications, to be able to run for office. So when I look at the criteria, I just, hit the ground by creating a team and talking to people about what I think. And the first person I spoke to was my mom, and she gave me her blessing. So my dad too, and I spoke to friends, I spoke to associates. So I took the right steps and created a philosophy. I told them that I don't want to register a political party. I want to run as an independent candidate. And many thought that it was going to be difficult, to run as an independent candidate. So but I told them that I have a philosophy that I want to serve. And I am stepping into the arena to learn and change things. Let's just run. We will learn during the course, because at the end of the day, we are still young. We can develop ourselves down the line, and probably one day we might get into power. When you look at Halifa Saleh, when he started his struggle, it was a pretty long time ago, and he did not pull a lot of votes when he started running. But as time goes on, people started to see, where he was coming from and what he was saying, and he's the finest politician that you can find in this country here. And people learned a lot from him today. So I was taking that trend, but in a different way, and building myself in the process. And down the line, when things went to a certain level, I said to myself, okay, now that I've reached this point, and I know that I am not going to qualify because I don't have the much needed funding to do what I have to do. And the logistics also, it was going to be very complex for me. So I said, now it's time for us to gather what we experience and archive it and endorse the president. I didn't even put any options. And endorse the president and support his cause to give him a second term.
But you were having in the mind that you are going into it to endorse the president,
that was not in my mind initially. But when I touched the ground and feel the ground and listening to other politicians, so when I touched the ground, that was when I started joining dots. My decision came when I touched the ground. After a lot of time going out, I went as far as Jarosoma. I went as far as Basse. So I went to the nook and corner of the country and feeling the pulse of the people. And looking at the status quo, then I believe that, okay, he has been given an opportunity, like one term. So why don't we try him another term and support his cause? Because I always have the philosophy, when you see China, places like China, they have a head of state who is always in power until he dies. And just look how rapid China is growing. Sometimes democracy doesn't work in certain places, and Gambia is one of them. I think it's about time for us to start looking outside the box. I'm not saying we have a one-party state, but we really need to look into our system of governance. So I had that philosophy then.
All right. So you were saying you went around to, and also you also listening to make sure you connect the dots and you observe other parties. When you were observing, what did you see from other parties that didn't convince you at the time? And you say later on, let me just go and endorse the president.
As for me, all I see them do is attack the president. What the president is not doing, but what they are going to do is something that was absent in the whole picture.
What of Halifa?
Actually, Halifa Sallah has been here for a while, and I did not believe in his philosophy of socialism. Because looking at my beliefs when it comes to politics, my politics is too connected to Islam. So I have my beliefs that was there on the table. And socialism is something that I don't go into. Something I don't believe in. And I endorsed the president, Barrow, not because of democracy also. I endorse him because of his personality. I endorsed him because of his character. I endorse him because of his flexibility. Someone that you can work with. Someone that anything good that you put on the table, he's not going to look at parties. He's not going to look at the individual, but he's going to look at the interest of the nation. So he had the interest of the nation at heart. That's the reason why I endorsed.
But you didn't have that connection with the president before endorsing him. Oh, you have that close connection with the president.
Actually, he's somebody that I grow under his eyes. I can say we share the same street, and he's someone I know personally, and I didn't endorse him because of the personal relationship. I endorsed him because of his personality, knowing the man. You can define a man by his character. So, and looking at the time that Gambia was at a point of, breaking, he stepped forward.
That is 2016?
And risked his life, yeah. He stepped forward and risked his life.
But others too did.
But they didn't stay there. They all left. So he was left in the governance of the country. So I was interested in the presidency, the governance of this country. What will take this country to the next level? Not the petty and tiny issues that were happening in their midst. And we all know what happened during the first era of when the presidency was in the midst of the coalition. We've all observed the trend until there was a break. everything that was said prior to the break is in records. It's so contradictory.
Exactly like what?
For instance, this 3 years issue. You know, the UDP leader came out and say nobody has to mention that 3 years because of the constitution. It says 5 years. And after the break between the president and the UDP, now they're saying something different. And we are not stupid and we are not kids. You cannot tell me today that this is right, and tomorrow you come and tell me that no, it's not right, it's wrong. Do you expect me to trust that individual? No. So there are a lot of things that have been said here and there that, you know, President Barrow is the hero and, you know, he's like the Musa, the Pharaoh. So all these are on record. So I cannot just buy any idea of, you know, demonizing an individual only because of probably you didn't agree or you had some personal problems. So I saw the whole political landscape as something that is, you know, standing on cracks. Its foundation was just cracking. So I just decided to go with the president because he's the head of state and support him for another cause, because the devil you know is better than the angel you don't know.
So when you endorsed the president shortly, there were a lot of you know, you don't use social media that much, like you said, especially Facebook, but I believe that didn't go well with many people also. What was your experience at that moment, especially where you are, and going around, you know, especially within the Serekunda here and other places? What was your experience? Did you meet with people whereby they'll tell you, why did you endorse the president or this and that?
I've never met such. I never encountered. When I endorsed the president, everybody blessed it because the hype was there and the president was speaking hype on the ground. He gained momentum. People wanted to give him a second chance. I was everybody that I met on the ground, or I had phone calls, people telling me that like it was the right move I've made, and not to look at the approval of the people, whether my moves are right or wrong. As for me, I did what I felt that was right in my own guise. Like I told you, you cannot control the perception of people. It's how they think. And I felt that I did the right thing. Until today, I'm still feeling that I did the right thing because I supported someone that I believed in.
So, but at the time, you didn't look at the, let's say, the TRRC, the issue of TRRC, the issue of institutional reforms, the reforms that were supposed to be done and they were not done, some of them were not completed. You didn't bother that.
Actually, all these are policies and programs, these policy documents. I'm looking at the TRRC, you know, it has a direction. You know, it was meant to bring healing, it was meant to bring reconciliation, it was meant to bring preparation, and all these things is a process. You know, it's not going to happen overnight because it's a deeply sensitive issue. Because if it goes wrong, we're going to encounter a civil war. So it is very technical. And as for Gambians, we want things to be done quickly. Let the perpetrators be punished as soon as possible. But you're not looking at the individual. He's a father. The individual is an uncle, even though he killed someone else. So if you want to use violence to remove violence, at the end of the day, you're going to create more violence. So for me, the way things are going, even though it's dragging, I think that we need to go back to ourselves. This country has been through a very rough time. We sifted from a regime that we forcefully kicked out of the country. And this government came in, you know, there's this book I always quote, How Nations Cope with Crisis and Change. We're dealing with change right now.
And no matter what approach we take to our problems, natural consequences will follow. These are side effects. So we cannot just look at things from the outside, but the side effects also is going to affect every aspect of society, including government. And government is not just some set of buildings that are piled up, some offices. They're individuals. We have technocrats in the government, and they're dealing with policies and programs. They're dealing with each other as individuals, with their different mindsets, with their different political affiliations. So the political will is lacking in the system. So the system is in chaos itself. So we cannot just take fingers and pointing it, at certain things. Why are these things not happening? But we need to get down to the level. Before we ask who, let's ask what and why. It's beyond us as individuals. We're dealing with a very complex situation here. We're dealing with crisis. We're dealing with very sensitive issues that are connected to lives and individuals who are very innocent. We cannot experience what the rest of some parts of the world are experiencing. Reaction. Places like Ukraine, places like Syria, places like Iraq, Libya. We have experience with Sierra Leone and Liberia. So we have to carefully.
All right. So after endorsing the president, were you promised by the president that he'll give you something? Or after the election, did you receive anything from the president?
Actually, I wasn't promised anything. I wasn't given anything because I didn't endorse the president with the intention of getting anything. I endorsed the president with the intention of supporting a cause that is worthy for all the Gambians, to place him in a position that he's going to lead the country towards a right direction. I am young, I have ambition, and I have dreams. That was a learning curve for me, to gain experience, to broaden my network and my connection, to create platform for myself. Today, if I didn't endorse the president or didn't come out and express my direction, we would not be sitting here today for an interview. So it creates platform for you. It exposes you to the electorates who are sitting down and listening. To the electorates, you educate them on what lines to vote. So at the end of the day, after elections also, I wasn't given anything. And at the end of the day, I didn't go there for something. I'm a man of integrity. I have my knowledge. And I'm not just somebody that sits down and fold my hands and look for someone to come and save or help me. I am innovative. I am creative. I have things running for me when it comes to my feeding, clothing, and shelter. I'm a family man. I'm a married man. I'm a husband. I'm a father. I have responsibility. But I have passion also to support and help and contribute towards the welfare of the nation, to contribute towards Gambia and Gambians, to give a helping hand, even if it is going to be one person that I inspire. For me, I'm a winner.
Yeah. So how's your right now your collaboration still now, or did it only stop at the presidential election? And how was it during the parliamentary election?
Actually, the president is a gentleman, and to be honest, he has closed no door for anyone. State House is not just somebody else's house where you can just jump in and jump out. It has protocols. The president does not own State House. That's the reason why they have those sets of protocols. That's why he has his chief of protocol. That's why he have now chief of defense. Chief of staff, rather, for his affairs to be managed. He's dealing with a lot of things. So I didn't join the president to have access. But whenever I want to see him, I will write and channel it towards the records office, it goes through the protocols, and if he wants to approve my seeing him, he's going to approve my seeing him. Just recently, about 5 weeks ago, I had these investors who wanted to invest into, converting waste to energy. We wrote, and he approved our proposal, and he opened the door for us to go and see him. That's work, and that's progress and development. I just don't want to have the opportunity. Okay, now I have access to State House. Anytime I want to move in, I'll just jump in and ask audience to go and sit with the president. I talk about what? Chad. He's the busiest man in the country. He is dealing with a lot of things.
All right. So the parliamentary election came, and then it passes. Why didn't you run for that one?
My eyes is not in the parliament. I am the social type. And
but do you understand that for you to also win a seat at that Marina parade is going to be difficult? You also understand that? And was it not the reason why you came as an independent also? Oh?
Actually, looking at my philosophy and my model I want to use to run the country is so deep to such an extent that I believe that going to the parliament is not going to do justice to what I want to do. I just want to stick to what I am doing, running for offices that are connected to what I want to do. That's the presidency. And I know you must have heard the mayoral, because I am moving in between these positions. I ran for mayor and presidency, and now mayor again. And I am eyeing what I'm eyeing because I know the reason why I'm eyeing it. Simply because the impact I want to make is so huge to such an extent. If I have to jump into anything else, I'll be confined. And I don't want to be confined.
Yeah, so I was listening to one of your interview where you were saying this was in 2021 that what KMC needs is a survey. So what did you exactly mean by that? What KMC needs is a survey.
A savior, in the sense that we need a leader.
So you are not convinced, by what Talib is doing?
Actually, he's doing what he can do. He's doing it at the best of his abilities. But KMC needs more. When you look at the mayor's mandate and what he is supposed to do, and what we see him doing, we know that there is a lack of capability, a lack of vision. Because being the leader of KMC, you are not the manager. That's the reason why you have the CEO. Because you have the office of the mayor and you have the office of the CEO. The office of the mayor, this is where you find all the politicians and the NGOs. This is a think tank. Where they're busy on legislations, where they're busy on policies, where they're busy on programs. And these things need a lot of thinking, visionary, to see things that the layman don't see. You're thinking for the people.
So exactly what I wanted to understand is that things that Talib is doing, you are not convinced with those things, or still what Talib is doing is very, very little.
Yes, as for me, I believe that with me there's more to gain. Looking at the council's mandate and what they are supposed to do. For instance, today, is the mayor's mandate, is the council's mandate, in general, to manage all the schools within KM. Do you know? Many don't, because at the end of the day, looking at the Local Government Act, they have the powers. It's the council's mandate to manage all the schools and all the health centers and dispensaries within KM.
How? Exactly, because one would think education is supposed to be taken care of. Yeah, I mean, the Minister of Education, Basic and Secondary Education, one would think they are going to be the one to manage those schools and all. So if you say KM, how?
Actually, is the mandate of central government to make sure that they decentralize their efforts towards development. And when it comes to decentralization, this is where local government comes in. They are closer to the people. And the government system is just synergies at the end of the day. They are interlinked. Today, within KMC, there are schools, right? Yeah?
Yeah, so.
And these schools are structures that have needs. And when it comes to the ministry,
yeah,
they will be busy designing curriculums and managing the examinations and all that. But when it comes to the management of these schools, the infrastructure of the school, the cleanliness of the school, when it comes to enhancing certain things within the school, KMC own Charles Jow. KMC, they own Charles Jow.
Is Charles Jow not one of the best schools in KM?
I mean, they own Charles Jow. I mean, it's not one of the best schools. Have you been through Charles Jow?
I haven't been, but Charles Jow,
Yeah.
I have seen a lot of.
I'm just giving you an example that KM
Mhm.
should participate
Mhm.
in education. Then they wouldn't have owned a school like Charles Jow. KMC owns Charles Jow. They built the school. So when it comes to the management of schools, they should have a hand in it. They have to talk to the Minister of Education, and they have to have the capacity to be able to manage the schools. And it's just form of an agreement that they will just help one another. That's the reason why politics is killing us. Because if, for instance, the council leader belongs to a different political party and the central government, the leaders belong to another political party, what's going to happen is sabotage. They're not going to work together. And central government and local government, they must have to work together, for them to have an effective delivery of services that is going to affect the lives of the people. Just look at the health centers around KM.
So now, basically, what did you want to do differently from what Talib is doing?
Actually, what I want to do different is a lot. The first thing I'm going to do, there is this document that I'm going through, which I have a lot of extracts from the document. It is the 2019-2022 how to call it, 2019-2022 strategic plan of Cardiff Municipal Council, which has really guided me, team, to look at things from a broader perspective. I want to intervene into each and every activity that is going on within the municipality, from the health sector, the education, the security, at council level, working with these relevant authorities, the ministries of sports, ministries of education, the interior ministry, every single ministry that is relevant to what is needed within KM will be connected to them, and we see how best we can work together and lighten the burden of their efforts. Because today, if we are pointing fingers at government, 50% of the problems, the other 50% lies within the local government. We share the problems because at the end of the day, we are partners. Central government and local government are partners in the development of our societies. So the first thing that is going to change, is the model of operation.
Model of operation. So you are going to come as an independent. You think you can win in KM?
Actually,
Yeah, because you having UDP, United Democratic Party, having NPP, they are the biggest. Not so, they are the biggest. So being an independent and then overtake those people to that office there, do you think that can be possible?
Actually, my campaign strategy is unique. That made me believe that even if I go solo, I haven't announced my candidature as independent yet, because there is some series of engagements between me and the NPP and the president, and still now there are negotiations and talks, which is ongoing. But
Is it about you representing NPP there?
actually, it's a negotiation that's not matured yet, to be discussed, on any platform, not to be disclosed. But there's an engagement. But looking at the realities on the ground, local government is different from presidential election. It's most of the time not partisan. People don't vote based on party lines. As for UDP, fine, they can vote based on party lines. But there's a voter bloc that is out there that don't vote based on party lines. And it's when you look at the numbers and the figures, I believe that even an independent candidate can pull it. Because people need to believe what they see. People need to buy into your philosophy or ideas. Today, if you look at I'll just give you an example. Just look at mental health, for instance. We have people that are termed as lunatic roaming all around. You see them all around the streets. And when you look at rehab centers, there are no rehab centers within KM. There is no intervention when it comes to these basic things that people are going through. The amount of unemployment. KMC can create employment too. Looking at all these bodies that are available on the ground. So they are not doing enough. For me, all I see is, ceremonial development.
Ceremonial development,
like laying foundation stones, having these big trucks running around and collecting belief.
Is that not relevant?
Actually, when it comes to sustainability, and all those rubbish that are collected is going to be dumped in someone's backyard. Does that make sense?
But it has to be dumped, not so.
I mean, is it right for you to clean your backyard and come and dump it in my backyard? It doesn't make any sense. And those Mbali trucks, they are not assets to the council. They are liabilities. They're taking a lot of money from us. One bag of Mbali, you pay $50. So they're collecting money from people instead. So now, if I have 5 bags and I have little money, what would I do? That's why you see illegal dumps all over. People are just looking at corners and dumping because of the method. These Mbali trucks should have found a strategy in place, a method, and it should have come at a time where backward dump site should not have been there. At least we would have identified a method of making this waste disappear and put into good use. Either we convert it into energy, or we have a landfill mechanism where you're not going to, see any of the rubbish, and it's going to be on the outskirts of KMC, not necessarily for it to be, on a KM land. That's the reason why you have this inter-council, connections. Bilkama area council have a lot of land. The rubbish can go to Tambana. There's enough space in Tambana, but it should not go to Tambana for dumping instead. It should go on a landfill where the rubbish will be controlled and managed. We can have recycling, reusing. You have these PET bottles that are littering all around. When I was coming, I was drinking water in a PET bottle. So you have too many PET bottles that are thrown out there. So it's all about creativity. So it's not just bragging with big trucks running around and seeing women that start from Westville up to Tipagaras, sweeping. What about the corners? It's just ceremonial for people to see them. Okay, they're sweeping like KFC at work. Like, it's all politics. Cheap popularity. And tiring women at the end of the day. Very unfortunate. So it needs mechanism. It needs organizing. It needs, collaborating with the people. The communities have to involve in this to keep their environments clean. The ward councillors and the ward development committees should create means of keeping the municipality clean and be incentivized. Rather than you having an employment in the corner where they will just come and, clean, and just at the end of the day have some money in their pockets. And even some of them don't even live within the municipality. So it needs some proactivity. It needs vision. It needs thinking. It needs collaboration. It needs communication. There are youths that are out there that have so much talent, that are so capable, that are so willing to do something.
So don't you think you should try to register your party? Because there are people saying these small parties are only there for opportunities and other things. Don't you think you should register your party now?
Actually, you see, I do things at my own pace, at my own time. I have my plans. I have my short-term, middle-term, and my long-term plans. I'm not in haste. And whatever people say, that's their opinions. And there's not a single human being on the face of the earth who are not opportunists. We are all opportunists. We're all looking for opportunities, right? You're here because of work. We're all looking for opportunities. So these words don't really matter to me much at the end of the day. Having a political party and registering a party, it takes a lot. I want to build myself up. I want to gradually grow until the time is up. Build my muscles and do what I have to do when the time is right. But as for now, I want to focus. I have a focused base politics. Politics of initiatives. Looking at problems and bringing solutions. Immediate solutions. You cannot come and tell, the youngsters that, okay, you have a dream that you want to, get them high up there one day, whilst today is already here. They are hungry today. They want to earn today. What do you have on the table? What can you create there and then so that they will start doing something? Just imagine, with the whole of game, we have only one institution, technical, which is GTTI. By now, we should have had GTTI in every constituency to attract more technical youngsters. Not every youngster is technical, but some are. At least we mitigate the problems. We cannot solve all the problems, but we start doing something about these problems.
All right. Just to remind you again, you're watching at Gambian Talents TV, and this is your favorite show that comes your way on every Sunday from 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock. Here with me is Babucarr Jeng, the founder and leader of Gambia First. All right, Babucarr, léegi fu mu nekk nii waxtu bi almost jeex na. So yow jamono ji nii yaa ngi bokk si ñu endorse Barrow pour joxaat ko beneen ticket mu run for another 5 years. Fu mu ne nii coow baa ngi bari si dëkk bi, dëkk baa ngi difficult, mu ngi difficult lekka yi, especially food commodities yëpp a ngi cher. Noo gisee loolu, ndax yow regretuloo endorsing Barrow pour temps bi nii especially si time bu ñu nekk nii.
waaw comme ni nga ko waxee rek coow li bëri na waaye man coow du ma dee yóbbaale dama dee read in between the lines waaw coow li moo bëri yëpp da ngaa xool lan moo waral coow li waaw coow li ko waral mooy ay doomi adama lañ rek ñoo xamante ni dañ yëg méttiti àdduna moo tax ñuy jóg di coow waaye coow li yëpp ñu ngi koo jël di ko koppa benn nit mooy président Barrow ne moo toog ci bopp réew mi this is very normal pour koo xam ne moo nekk ci bopp réew mi nit ñi tolof buñ am moom lañ koo koppa ne moo leen ko teg waaye dañ réeree mbir ne nguur benn nit nekkul di ko yóbbu waaw nguur di ko benn nit yóbbu nit ñi ñoom seen bopp parce que dañ amee part to play waaw so partnership la rek te soo xoolee adduna si dafa nekk ci tolof we have to be very fair to each other the whole world there's a global crisis that is going on in terms of economy so buñ leen misleadante il faut ñu déggu ba pare di waxante dëgga adduna si dafa am jafe-jafe boo xam ne daf ko grip bañ koo bàyyi te yow sa xaalis soo téyee dalasi bi fii la am dalasi bi boo génnee moom day commencé dina sax doo ko mën a jaay fenn da nga koo convert into euro wala dollar wala CFA even this neighboring Sénégal dalasi bi amul fa doole so ñun ñu ngi dundaloo xam ne we are so dependent on the outside world so tey outside world bi su demee ba am tolof am jafe-jafe foog ñu yëg ko ñun lu ñuy jëfandikoo yëpp ci biti lay jóge ko te si biti duñ ñu ko may dañ ko leen jënd ay businessman ñoo fi nekk ñoo xam ne ñoom ñooy xool loo xam ne nit ñi soxla nañ ko ci goods ñu dugal si seen xaalis te kuy dogita tax businessman tamit ñoom ubbiwuñ seen business yi not because of ne dañ bëgg a ubbi business rek they open their businesses to make profit nguur nag seen liggéey mooy regulations ñu make sure ne affaire bi teg nañ ko ci yoon luy dugg si fii ci lu nit ñi di lekk ñu oyofal li nga xam ne mooy naamo yu ñuy teg ci kaw businessman yi waaye pour contrôle lii doo jël yar di dóor nit ñi di leen contrôle pour ñu wàññi seen price wala ñu ngi koo éegal su dafa involve lu bari yi nga xam ne nag ñoom ñoo saytu bunta yooyu ñoom ñoo war di toog de xalaat ne àdduna xalaat moo ko yóbbu tey soo gisee jafe-jafe di am ci mbir toogal nga seetaan mbir bi what is the root cause dafa am benn story moo ci benn book you know just bu gaaw rek dafa am benn professeur mu ngi àndoon ak student am ñu ngeen doxantu so bu ñu doon doxantu ci buri géej ne ñoom doxantu mu toog rek gis koy lab ci géej gi so booy bi daw rek soobu ci biir géej gi génnee kooku pare mu bës ko ndox mi génna so he feel na he has done something great waaye professeur baa ngi relax rek professeur bi xam na foofu miin na fa ñu demaat few meters mu gisaat keneen di lab noonu mu dugg ci ndox mi da mooy 3 times so he was mu doon knocking because of coono mu ne professeur can't you help me mu ne ko gis nga ñii go and stop them from the bridge that they jump before you come and stop them from drowning because dafa am bridge boo xam ne mu ngi nekkoon ci gannaaw fa la gars yi day jump di xaru so if you stop them from jumping from that place then doo am benn results tey yu ñoo gis yëpp results la dañ ko war a toog xool lan mooy root cause bi ñu xeex ko from the root cause soo feebaree dañu di ping wala ñu jox la garab nga naan garab bi nag day dem to the root to cure su dee da nga am racist dañu lay jox looy apply waaye dañu lay jox looy naan tamit pour mu cure it from the roots so tey jafe-jafe yu nekk di go through yëpp boo nañ koo jël it's not fair di ko en benn nit tey ñuy coow nii yëpp di tubaka dal waaw dëkk bi doxul nii girib bu ñu leen joxoon dëkk bi duñ ci mun dara coow laay bari rek we need to sit down and look at ourselves képp koo xam ne am na dara loo xam ne xam-xam la luy yóbbu réew mi kanam teg ko ci taabal ne buñ defoon nangam sangam dund bi dina moyen seer waaye nag dund bi dafa seer kii moo ko waral boo leen ko fi génnee teg ñu fa loolu politique la am na loo xam ne su fa tolloo dafay weesu politique nit ñaa ngeen xalaat du ñoo lekka lu ñoo sol fu ñoo dëkka ngay ñëw di coow di yokk coow te coow yi dina dem ba nga xamante li moo dee taal réew bu demee taal boobu mooy noonu de ñëpp ñooy buub suñ bagage ñu nekk rek fi ji noonu.
All right, jërëjëf Awara foog na ni waxtu wi jeex na finally rek mun nga jël 1 minute rek nga just a final remark then we conclude.
waaye di bëgg rek incha allah ci invitation bi di ko rafetlu waaw comme ni ma ko dee waxee rek di la encourage yow tamit keep it up and at the end of the day waxtaan du tuuti waaw xamuloo kan la nekk di njëriñ out there ëllëg si biir mën na laa njëriñ électorate si tamit waxtaan la rek there is nothing that is right amul dara loo xamante ni kenn koo xam ne am na the right way loolu amul ci kaw suuf we just trying to contribute the little that we know the little that we have su ko defee réew mi jëm kanam te waxtaan moom mooy génnee réeroo so di wax ñëpp ñu dem rek ak dal wàññi ngaañente bi après tamit ñu bëri li ñoo gestu xam lan moo nekk di xew ci àdduna lu nekk di xew ci réew mi yow naka laa doxee àdduna si lu nekk di dox ci àdduna loolu bu amee moom defe naa coow li dina wàññi.
Thank you very much. That was Babucarr Jeng, the leader and founder of Gambia First. Just to remind you, it was your favorite show, Bankola Kuwo, with me here, Sheriff Conte, and we're saying bye for now until next week. Thank you.
And we having businessmen not to complain. Ila kulun kanale fu banjol. Ibuka jino ebuka la bagaso jin. They turn back. The katafen dole drop into Senegal. Gambia bagaso kajisena. Omasi bolet.
Dr. Ture contributed immensely to the failure of Adam Barrow regime from 2017 to 2020.
Manke mola foye ko babun wok monkey it bar committee la jero yaje ko wala be tamakan NPP kono.
Yes, ngajale because ya kende fangola I was victimized. Who? The party executive. President ya bulobula among intervene because atele sonta yenna the political campaign.
Barrow e muno famoni ning hanata komen ko be jaralale we transport people from Mali, Sierra Leone and other countries but we are going to do it. Pour que mol transport ni nala can support for 5 years on moisia crowd
bari ita fono la ko ha minister la jo doyatale ngati nga minister tal allowance la fa mol membe duma minister patata nyaonya mol membe marché oto jendan jaay o famasol do Sénégal membe bolon kono wolle patata minister ti ko ton te balafa no la minister e ka fo minister la jo doyatale nga balafa wanto director la jo doyatale nga balafa
Yaya has the political power, Yaya has the political popularity in the Gambia. Hanibi molbe lafringale and hanibi ala yamaro na futa molka.
Let it be put straight that marriage should be between a man and a woman only if they reach the age of 18 and above, or if they reach maturity, because people could be matured before they reach 18.
So every year, the GFF receives $1 million from FIFA, $500,000 in January, and another $500,000 in July.
I'm the CEO of Divas Beauty Supplies.
Owner of African Supermart.
The owner of Sawana Import and Global Grocery. I'm the manager of Bankola Restaurant.
This is my boutique. It's Anna's Closet.
Money does not go on three.
No matter how long I live in America, Gambia is my home. That's what I have.
Mangi judo fast njaga choy. Mangi grow up in Barrow.
Business in United States, not only in the US, everywhere in the world right now, business is challenged.
Looking into many different kinds of businesses, I think this is the best thing to do, and it's really working out for me.
I've been here for about 16 years.
I came here in 1989.
I have like 3-4 jobs that I do.
My advice is for other young Gambians to focus on what they want to do. Education is the key to everything.
Have a vision, have a purpose, and don't let anybody tell you you will never succeed.
I am Anna Sayang.
Ibu Bah.
Ajinda Idafe. Ulay Musayus.
Ibrahim Adiba.
Mohamed Sawane.
Fatou Diba.
Abdullah Ilo.
Jelimari Jabate. I'm very proud.
I am proud.
I am a proud Gambian.
Embracing this ground, my people, my town.